Let me ask you a question. In your heart, in your intimate relationships, are you a runner? Do you avoid? Do you live behind what we call emotional walls? You protect yourself, or at least think you're protecting yourself, not just from criticism, judgment, attack, but also from love, comfort, care. Do you have difficulty with receptivity, dependency, surrender? When you live behind walls, you're an empty fortress. You're protected and you're alone. Would you like to do better? My name is Terry Real. I'm the founder of Relational Life Therapy, a unique method of helping men, women, and non-binary folk move beyond the strictures of traditional gender roles and patriarchy and step fully into levels of intimacy that leave the norms of this culture in the dust. Today, I want to address my friends who are love avoidant, who live behind walls. And the walls can be tricky. Walls can be subtle. I'm a love avoidant myself. And for most of my life, I lived behind a wall of seduction, charm, looked like I was connected. I'm the kind of guy that would go out and have beer with a friend and have a deep, deep, intimate conversation about them, about their vulnerabilities. If you zoomed in a little closer, it would become apparent to you that I wasn't sharing very much of my vulnerabilities. Of course, I'm a therapist, so that's my favorite position in life, to be bathed in the intimacy of your issues and not particularly share very many of my own. You can use virtually anything as a wall of silence, wall of anger. If you ever be yourself in a blind rage or with someone in a blind rage, they're boundaryless in terms of being uncontained. They're invading your boundary, but they're walled off in terms of being unreceptive. This is the word, receptivity. How receptive are you really? If you're a love avoiding, the answer is not really. You may look receptive, but not really. When I work with my students that I'm teaching relational life therapy to, therapists, I talk about two different kinds of love avoidance. See if you can identify yourself. The first I call a type 1 love avoidant. This is the type that's written about in the attachment literature. When attachment literature, people talk about having an avoidant attachment style. They're almost always referring to someone who grew up in a family where everybody had an avoidant attachment style. If you grew up in a family where everybody lived behind walls. There's a great story about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes. And I admire this in a way, but as a therapist, it's not healthy. He was walking down Hyde Park with a friend who was subject to petit mal seizures. And the story goes, his friend dropped on the ground and started convulsing, but just for 30 seconds or so. Picked himself up, dusted himself off, and rejoined Sir Arthur, who had been strolling along and speaking as if he didn't notice that his friend had dropped to the ground, bearing his feelings at the point. Well, noble, but doesn't make for great intimacy. Can you take a compliment? Can you allow yourself to risk being hurt by someone? I remember early on as a young man saying to a new girlfriend, look, I'm putting myself in your hands. You could really hurt me. Please don't. And if you grew up in a family where no one did that, it's like, what in the world is this guy talking about? Intimacy in a family where everyone lives behind walls it's kind of like poor taste, passing gas in the dining room. It's intimacy. Let's all be head up and talk about logic and ideas, and let's not burden each other with this squishy thing called emotions. If you are a type 1 love avoidant, first of all, I want to tell you, you're great. If you live in a cave, then go ahead and live behind walls all you want. But if you've been stupid enough to have a partner, let alone a bunch of kids, every day you stay behind your wall is a day you're hurting your partner and your kids. Families need contact like plants need water. They need you. So take a breath and do better. What does that mean? Listen to other people's feelings without shutting down, even their feelings about you, and actually come up with a few of your own feelings. When someone's totally cut off from their feelings, I ask them to draw a list, a column, 7 words: joy, pain, pain, anger, fear, shame, guilt, love? What are you feeling right now as you're sitting in your chair listening to this song? And what else are you feeling? And what else are you feeling? When you live behind walls, often you're not used to tuning in to your feelings, but people need to hear that from you. If you don't, if you walk around being nothing but logical with a closed heart, you are boring. You are disconnected. So you may be fine with it, but the people around you are not. A type 2 love avoidant, which is me, is even more challenging. You did not grow up in a family where everyone was behind walls. You grew up in a family where one or both parents were boundaryless. They invaded you. I grew up in a violent. My dad was a rager. And my mom, I lit up her life. I was the best thing in the world. I say, what is the most destructive phrase in the English language? Honey, you understand me better than your father does. So when you've been the recipient of boundaryless transactions, you're the hero child, you're a parent surrogate, you're somebody's confidant, you are the adult in the family way beyond your years, that you feel choked, you feel suffocated, and you bring that into your adult relationships, and you need intimacy because we all do, but once someone's there, you start to experience them as needy and you keep them at arm's length. If you're a type 2 love avoidant, you've been invaded, you've been exploited, you've been used, and the fear is being smothered. The antidote to all of that is good boundaries, not a wall. Back in the 60s, we all talked about taking down your wall. No, no, no. The antidote to a wall is not boundarylessness. That's what a walled off person fears, but a good boundary. And I want you to read Us, my new book, and learn about what a good boundary looks like. It's protected, but it's also connected. So you're not an open door that anybody can walk through, but you're also not a bricked off wall that no one has access to. It's supple. You're connected and protected both at the same time. Read about it and learn how to do it. It's rare in our culture. And if you're a type 2 love avoidant, your boundaries were routinely violated. So you put up that wall to protect yourself from intrusion. And you may be with a partner who also in real life might have some intrusive characteristics, and you're going to have to learn how to stand up to them, but not by shutting down, by leaning in and taking them on. This is brand new. The cure for love avoidance is negotiation. When you grow up as a type 2 love avoidant, your template for relationship is you're there to service their need. And you don't really have much faith that anybody gives a good goddamn about you and your needs, but they do. You're not that little boy or girl. Your partner is not your mother and father. Put your current relationship to the test. Have the courage to turn the satellite dish in, identify your wants and needs, and begin to negotiate, put them out, express them, assert them. That's all brand new for both forms of love avoidance. I don't want to sit for the next 3 hours and hold you on the couch. I'd rather go for a walk. And to tell you the truth, I could use about 30 minutes of my own space to debrief from work and just be left alone. Oh my God, what a miracle. To have voice in your relationship, to be able to stand up for what you want and need, and not just be there for what they want and need. That takes down the wall, but it takes courage, because in both forms of love avoidance, you grew up in a family where your wants and needs were not cared about. In a family in which everybody was walled off, nobody shared their wants and needs, and you learned very quickly to take care of yourself. In a family where you were invaded, nobody cared about your needs. You were there to service them. So having the healthy self-esteem of saying, this is what I want. I want chocolate, not vanilla, is a brand new world. It takes courage. Don't try and do it alone. Get a good therapist. RLT therapists are available, or coach. Read some books, gather your friends, but screw your courage to the sticking post and stress the relationship. I don't like this. I prefer that. I look forward to your comments below this video. Please subscribe to this channel on YouTube for more information about how to have a healthy relationship, first to ourselves and then to the people we care about.